2 power rankings, it is only one team A tier.
But it's not.
It's not, of course, come on, it's not power rankings. And you know what it certainly is not? It's not. What is it not?
Oh, it's not the standard.
Gosh darn it, man.
I didn't know
What are you even doing?
It's not an onion.
What?
There's a lot of not.
The only thing it cannot be, Wild.
Okay.
Where do you get the standings?
USA Today.
Yeah, your local Ramada Inn or
Yeah, you
something.
go right
yeah,
by the breakfast
exactly.
burritos.
Bottom row. Woke up feeling dangerous.
Yes,
Now this
let's
is
go.
partially Baker Mayfield, but it's also Todd Bowles' defense. Todd Bowles'
Yes.
plan in the defense was to blitz the Eagles until they made an adjustment. And then Nick Sirianni, his infinite wisdom, said, what if we just don't? And Todd Bowles said, that'd be fine with us. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case against Ben Johnson and the Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, but what we do know is if you pressure Goff, he can't deal with it. So Baker's going to chuck it deep, and the Bucs are going to try to eat him up. Woke up feeling dangerous. They couldn't. Could they? Green Bay in San Francisco. Jordan Love slinging it. Kyle Shanahan. What if he just trails 7-0 early the night before? A little nervous. They couldn't upset the Niners. There's no way, right? Next year 4 of a 5-year plan. And here's what I mean. Right now, we have head coaching interviews going on across the country, and you have head coaches that are going to try to sell owners on a 5-year plan. Year 1, we're going to install a culture. Year 2, we're going to try to be a 500 football team. Year 3, by year 4, I think we can be in the divisional round or further. D'Amico Ryan said, how about we do it all in the first year? How about I install a culture, we get above 500, win the division, and we do all that with a rookie quarterback, with rookie skill position players. Next, month of Michigan. On December 30th, something happened. The Lions lost to the Dallas Cowboys in excruciating fashion. It felt same old Lions. Gonna be screwed out of the 2 seed, not gonna be able to do it. Later that evening, the Detroit Pistons snapped a 27-game losing streak. Since then, what happened? Well, the University of Michigan has won a semifinal and a championship game in the college football playoff. The Detroit Lions have won their first playoff game in 30 years, and all of a sudden the Cowboys are out and they have another home game at Ford Field. Could January be the month of the Michigan sports fan? We shall see. Franchise fork in the road. This is for the Buffalo Bills. It's very clear what this is. Are you going to become the first team in nearly 30 years in the NFL to lose 3 times in 4 years to the same team in the postseason? Are you clearly going to have a team you simply, no matter what you do in the regular season, can't get past? Or is this the year you slay the dragon? Is this the year you beat the team that you have said, self-professed, been obsessed with? And is this the year you have a chance to actually hang a real banner as opposed to fake ones in the practice facility and ones mocking you on this show? My guess is it's the latter. We'll see if it's the former. Next, everything you could ask for. The Niners. They got the 7 seed coming to town. Not one of the teams we expected. Dallas and Philly. We all looked at the NFC throughout the year. 3-team race. 2 of them got beaten round 1. You have one of the healthiest teams in the league. You have a well-rounded roster. And you have a quarterback who some smart people were arguing multiple times throughout the year might be the MVP of the league and should get more credit to go along with the running back everyone agrees is the best running back in football. Smart head coach. Everything you could ask for. Next, be honest, they're a little nervous. The Ravens. There's the rust. There's the fact that you watched what C.J. Stroud did in the previous round with not a care in the world against an AFC North great defense who you struggle with. So there's the ghosts of playoffs past. You have the profile of an all-time team. The point differential, the regular season success, the defense, your losses actually you controlled throughout when Lamar played and then just fell apart at the end. But you're a little nervous. Be honest. You're a little nervous. That's everyone who has been dancing on the Chiefs' grave all year. That is people on this set. That is most notably Chris Broussard and Eric Mangini, who have treated the Kansas City Chiefs, who are one of the 8 teams remaining, like an NAIA team this year, and talked about a 19-point playoff win not being that impressive and how all we need is one receiver to step up, and then when that receiver steps up, we pretend that didn't exist. All we need is to not turn the ball over, and then when they play a perfectly clean postseason game, we say, who couldn't have done that in negative 30 degrees? Be honest, you're a little nervous for fading what is clearly the best Dude, go ahead.
Be honest, you're a little nervous.
I'm not nervous.
You're a little
This
nervous.
is the match.
You got a tattoo that said never
Never
in doubt.
doubt.
Be honest that you predicted they were 18-0.
Hey,
Be
I didn't predict
They're low
18.
blows.
That's
Be
ridiculous.
honest that every single week you try to convince yourself how good this team is. And somehow they find their way to the top. There might have been some drinking in Hell's Kitchen when you were putting some of these names together. I love the year 4 out of a 5-year plan. You know the previous 2 head coaches were fired after
1 year, yeah.
So I guess there's no 5-year plan there. But I'm just going to bump up Green Bay a little bit above where the Texans are. I think that's probably the most obvious of them. And when you look at Green Bay and the wins they had, and I know we're not giving style points for wins, but the reality is Cleveland turned back into a pumpkin, and Joe Flacco was a nice story, but it couldn't last. And Green Bay's win was more impressive, and they've been more impressive over the latter half of the season. Let's take a look. This is the last 9 games of the season, okay, including the playoffs. They're 7-2. Look at these rankings, offensive rankings down top to bottom. For the top 10 in everything, they're first in total points per game, and right on down the line. So that's where they've been over the last half of the season. Let's take a look at Jordan Love against the Bigs. Okay, the Bigs that he's played in this second half of the season. Win over Dallas, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 157 quarterback rating. Win over Kansas City, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 118 quarterback rating. Win over Detroit, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 125 quarterback rating.
Wow.
Really improved second half of the season with the youngest team in the league. He's been very impressive against really good teams. And when you look at the wins that they had, Houston versus Green Bay, I don't think it's
So listen,
comparable.
I think you make a very compelling case. I'm not. Again, there's only 8 teams left. They're all good teams. None of these teams I feel are being disrespected. Green Bay has been excellent for now 2+ months. I would argue in defense of Houston, they were excellent all year after the first month of the season when CJ played. When they struggled was after we saw them without him. And so, but that is to me very close. That was, I mean, you weren't in the committee meeting as you know, to
Obviously,
find
judging by Kansas City being on top.
well, listen, the defending champs. It's the playoff tiers. Give me a break. But you weren't here last week either. You would have known that that's where they were last week. But that was very close. Houston, Green Bay was very, very close. We went Houston. You make compelling case. Go
Well,
ahead.
look, just like there's no reason Kansas City should be favored in Buffalo this weekend, there's no reason they should be number 1 on this list. They should be 4th. It should be Baltimore, San Francisco, Buffalo, Kansas City right below them. They don't have the best defense in the league. They don't even have a top 10 scoring offense. They don't have home field advantage. They were 0-4 against playoff teams not named the Miami Dolphins. Like, why there's no reason other than past history to believe that they're the best team in the playoffs. So it should be Baltimore. Baltimore, obviously, they have the MVP on offense. They've got a Super Bowl winning coach. They got a defense, the first defense, I think, in history to lead the league in scoring defense, sacks, and takeaways. Like, oh my, Baltimore should definitely, and they crushed like half of these teams. I mean, they crushed the good teams that they played.
Great job.
Kansas City didn't even beat any other than the breakdancers.
So, I'm so my earpiece had gone out, and so you were cutting out, even though you're right here. I was here. Were you explaining why the 2002 Kings should be ranked ahead of the 2002 Lakers? I'm not sure, because that's kind of what it sounded like. Like, don't worry about history. What did they do this year? What have we seen this season? The history come the postseason has a lot to do with who you believe in the postseason.
I
One
think
of
the previous 18 weeks.
But again, we're kind of picking and choosing the previous 18 weeks stuff. And if we are going to talk about the best defense, they do have. They had the number 2 defense in the NFL this year.
that
Number
best?
1 was Cleveland.
Number 2 is
Cleveland's
best.
gone.
Number 2. No,
Cleveland
that's
is
yards.
gone.
I'm talking about scoring defense.
Okay, well that's odd
And
because
sacks
Hold on.
and takeaways.
So just real quick, if I may, you're talking about scoring defense, but yardage offense. I'm not sure because when you talked about the Chiefs not having a top 10 offense, you were talking.
Chiefs are not in the top 10 as far as points either, scoring.
And they're the number
So
2
I'm talking about
scoring.
scoring.
Yeah.
I'm about scoring.
Okay.
Not about yards. I'm about scoring.
Got it. Go ahead.
That's how you win.
job,
You
Bruce.
win with most yards.
No,
or
in fantasy you do.
That's right. That's right.
You know, not a lot of people are talking about this. I invented 2 phrases. The first one I invented was this in your head. Rest versus rust.
Okay. I haven't heard that.
Give an example of it. 2019, Ravens rusted everybody. Turns out they were rusty.
Yeah.
They played the Titans and they ended up losing. Tennessee got out to an early lead. Now, everybody on the Ravens is saying they remember it. Patrick Queen, I know the stories about 19. Lamar, 2019's over with. We're always talking about it. Harbaugh, we remember 2019. It's not something we're going to forget. Great. They should be locked in. I want them to come out and score right away and put the brakes on the Texans, who are very good in the first quarter in their last 3 games. They're scoring a touchdown. Their yards up. They got 112 yards in the first quarter in their last 3 games, and CJ's up here at 128. Now, because they're not rusted.
They're not what?
Rusted.
Rusted? Okay, got it.
Or rested.
Yeah, I got
They're
it.
just playing.
Yeah, exactly. Rusty is what most would say, but rusty
Or
works.
rusted.
Yeah, that works. Go ahead.
Tomato.
Yeah, there-
Now, Lamar says he's not going to be rusty at all. But when they met the last time, it was the first game of the season, and Lamar hadn't played all summer, even though he was practicing. And the tweet he put out was rusty as something, but thank you God. So I'm just saying, as much as you want to talk about rust not being on the board, the last time Lamar said he was rusty,
You know what I realized while you were going through that, Wilds? And that was well done. That was much better than bruised, feeble, Raven.
you guys arguing about stats that you can't see.
Here's what I realized. Brew, for the second straight week, you're going to go no upsets.
No, I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, because you're going to go no
Again?
upsets.
There
He's
will
gonna
not
go-
be any upsets.
Well, I mean, just